Good morning, ladies. So, yesterday I had a question about how you would draw your own picture or sketch and have your laser be able to cut that. And so I thought that this would be a nice little tutorial to share with those of you who do have a laser, so that if you do want to get into creating some files of your own at some point, this is a really great way to get started and kind of practice on some littler things. So I'm going to be using Silhouette Studio today. Silhouette Studio Business Edition will allow you to save things as an SVG file. And there are many types of files that your laser will read and cut with, but SVG is the most common. And so we're going to go ahead and work with that inside Silhouette Studio. So what I did earlier, actually I did it yesterday, is I drew a heart on a piece of copy paper. So just a regular white piece of paper, and I just drew a heart, nothing fancy, and we're going to go and grab that heart and bring it into Silhouette Studio and trace it and turn it into an SVG file. So let me go ahead and get rid of these words, and we're going to go find that heart. So what I did after I drew the heart is I took a picture of it with my phone, I sent it to myself, and then I saved it to my desktop. So we're going to go find that. We're going to go into File and Merge, and then here it is. I just called it Heart Trace, and I'm going to double click on that, and it's going to open up in Silhouette Studio. Now it's really big, it's showing my keyboard here, it's got my table, and that's okay because we're just going to trace this and it's going to just give us that heart. So we're going to zoom back in a little bit. Now the Silhouette Trace feature reads all of the color. Okay, so you want to draw this with a black pen, you could do a Sharpie. Just know that the thicker your line is, that's exactly what Silhouette Studio is going to trace. Okay, so over here on our sidebar is a bunch of tools, and this one here that looks like a little butterfly is called the trace panel. So we're going to click that to open it, and then it gives us this select trace area. So when you click on that, it's going to turn your mouse into these little crosshairs. And what we're going to do is select the trace area by left clicking our mouse and dragging a box around the heart. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something, but I'm going to get rid of it really quick. I just figured that I would show you this so that it would avoid the question later. But if you see these darker areas over here, whoops, I traced it. So let's go back. Boop and boop. Your backspace button is your friend. So these shadowy areas, if I drag this box bigger, the studio is actually going to, the trace feature is actually going to try to read that as well. So if you see that, that's okay, because we can separate that and crop that out later. But I'm going to go ahead and shrink my box up right to the edges of my heart, just because that's really all I want to trace. Whoops, I'm going to hit my back button again, and I'm just going to move my box right around my heart. Okay, and then I'm just going to select trace. Now it turned everything red, but I'm going to move, there's my heart, but I'm going to move this picture out of the way and bring our heart back up here onto our workspace. So you can see that all my imperfections when I drew this heart are showing up, and I can't really do a whole lot with it right now because, you know, I've got these double lines and all the things. So what we need to do is we need to break that apart. So we're going to highlight it by clicking and dragging your mouse around it. And then you're going to right click, because it gives you all of these options, and we're going to release the compound path. And what that means is it's just breaking it apart so that it isn't all one thing. So anything that isn't touching something else will become its own thing. So now you can see that I can break this apart, and I can use this cleaner piece to trace. And you can see that I have all my little imperfections over here that I would just have to clean up. So we're just going to highlight that and backspace and get rid of it. And then I'm going to click on my picture and backspace and get rid of that. And now we have this nice little heart. We do have a little bit of stuff right here that we need to clean up, but I will show you how to do that using editing points. And I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and we're going to call this part 1, because if I make this video too long, it's not going to upload. So we'll stop here and we'll come back and do the work on our heart and in part 2. So I'll see you in just a couple minutes.